For football players, there's a bus ride before every battle. A time to gather thoughts and to focus on the task at hand. For some of these players, it'll be their first experience in a rivalry game. For others, a last chance for glory at the Southern Heritage Classic. For fans, their focus is on fun and showing school spirit. TSU and JSU fans circle this date every year. It's the Southern Heritage Classic. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the excitement of college football. From Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee, it is the 26th edition of the Southern Heritage Classic presented by FedEx. For the 24th time in this event's history, it'll be a meeting of Tigers. The Jackson State Tigers have taken the field, as tonight they will face the Tennessee State Tigers, winners a week ago in comeback fashion over Alabama State. Well, the Southern Heritage Classic, obviously the football game is the centerpiece, but it's actually a multi-day civic celebration that encompasses a number of events, whether it's concerts featuring Gladys Knight or business meetings or college fairs. Also includes some great tailgating. The grills and the fans have been fired up since about 8 o'clock this morning. But make no mistake, the centerpiece of the Southern Heritage Classic weekend is the football game. And I bring in now my broadcast partner, two-time Super Bowl champion Brian McFadden. Jackson State has lost 10 of the last 12 times they have been here. Last weekend, they really struggled against Middle Tennessee State, lost 70-14. They were down early. Their offense ended up being one-dimensional as a result.
Yeah, so I expect to see a different ball club offensively with the Jackson State. This is a team that ran the ball 20 times for 33 yards, 1.6 yards an average. That is not a good average for any team offensively when it comes to running the football. And I expect to see, with a balanced attack, Lamontez Ivy have a huge game, and his prime #1 target is Big Dan Williams, one of the best wide receivers in the SWAC.
Offensive coordinator Timmy Chang told us he was going to open up the playbook for Ivy, who attended the Peyton Manning passing camp earlier this year. Now, for Tennessee State, they're very good defensively, always have been. Rod Reed was a standout player, now a standout coach for Tennessee State. We asked him about his defense. He said, well, they're really young, and it showed last week against Alabama State.
No question, Pete. You talk about a team that had some difficulties early on in the football game, especially with the communication. You saw a team that was in disarray in the back end, but yet and still was able to come out on top and force 4 crucial turnovers late in the second half of that ball game and came out with a huge win against Alabama State. But like Coach Reed mentioned early on this week, I expect to see a much better team, especially more polished on the back end.
You always see a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2, and that's what we expect. We also expect a spirited battle between the Tigers, Tennessee State, and Jackson State. The teams and the band on the field. We're ready for kickoff next from the Liberty Bowl.
Tennessee State, baby. It's game time, man. That's what we've been waiting on.
This is a heavyweight fight, guys. Last man standing gonna win. Now, who gonna be the last man standing? Who gonna be the last man standing? Who gonna be the last man standing? Here we go. Win 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win 1.
Well, Rod Reed is certainly ready, and we are ready for football here at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Tennessee State won the toss, and they have elected to take the ball with the opening kickoff. Marcus Deans and Ezra Robinson are back deep to receive the kickoff from Darcy Williamson. There's Robinson, and there's Harold Jackson, the head coach in his second season at Jackson State University. Outstanding all-pro wide receiver during his career in the NFL. This is his first head coaching job, now in his second season. Jackson State winning last weekend in the John Merritt Classic at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, 24-14 over Alabama State. Meanwhile, Jackson State losing 70-14 to Middle Tennessee State. Deans is number 28, Robinson number 21, and Darcy Williamson has it on the tee for Jackson State. This is the 50th meeting all time between these two schools. Low liner taken by Robinson. Robinson with a crease and knocked down at the 28-yard line. As I said, this is the 50th meeting between these two teams. They first met back in 1949. Last year, TSU won 35-7. Tennessee State has played in every single Southern Heritage Classic. As you get a look at Rod Reed, his team has won the last 3 meetings here in Memphis. O'Shea Ackerman Carter, redshirt freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, is the starting quarterback for Tennessee State. Out of the gun on first down, crossing route completed to his tight end, Joe Bowens, and Bowens across the 35 to the 36-yard line for a 7-yard pickup. That'll bring up 2nd down and 3. Bowens last year, 10 receptions for 91 yards. He had 2 for 13 in the victory over Alabama State. Second down and 3. Ackerman Carter in stride. Patrick Smith will take it the distance. Patrick Smith from Ackerman Carter on the second play from scrimmage, and just like that, Tennessee State is up 6-0.
What we saw right there, we saw the same exact formation, and they flipped sides with the formation. So therefore, they put the strength of the field to the field, which is to the left of the offense, and they ran the exact same play, but with the play action, and was able to suck up the linebackers a little bit, and definitely was able to catch Patrick Smith running wide open down the seam of the defense.
64 yards. Snap, spot, kick by Lane Clark is good. And less than a minute in, Tennessee State with a 7-0 lead. And the hometown hero, Patrick Smith from Memphis, Tennessee, played quarterback for Whitehaven High School right down the middle of the field.
And the safety, number 1 for Jackson State, Brandon Maiden, he has to do a better job at understanding the situation. Therefore, you cannot make a tackle for loss in the secondary. Play your coverage, play your zone, and make sure you're where you need to be. And they were able to capitalize off his mistake.
A year ago, Harold Jackson said, you know, maybe our Jackson State team was a little intimidated coming in here. They got off to a very slow start. Tennessee State ran off 35 points in the first half and won 35-7. And things have not started out very well for Harold Jackson and his Tigers tonight.
Definitely was a tone setter, Pete. Come out in 2 plays, put 7 points on the scoreboard early on. Definitely was a tone setter, and the momentum has definitely shifted in Tennessee State's favor.
71 yards on the scoring drive, taking 2 plays. As Lane Clark has it on the tee for TSU. Jarius Moore and Sabian Bingham are back deep to receive the kick. This will be Moore, and he will take a knee. And we'll get our first look at the Jackson State offense. And BMAC, this is something we talked with offensive coordinator Timmy Chang this week. Now, they got into a big hole against Middle Tennessee State, and they had to throw the ball a lot more than they wanted to. It's only a 7-0 game. No need to panic. You can start your rush game.
Yeah, exactly. Establish the run. You definitely need to have a balanced attack when you're playing against a talented team like Tennessee State. So there's no reason for you to get into a different formation. The identity of this team definitely is a run and shoot. But right now, Pete, you see, they're coming out in an I formation. We did not expect to see this, but this is something that we mentioned early on during pregame.
Robert Johnson is the tailback. He gets the call, trying to skirt the left side, and is able to get the edge across the 30-yard line and escorted to the chalk at the 32-yard line by Justin North, the junior linebacker for Tennessee State.
Great run by Robert Johnson. Did a great job of being able to get to the outside of the defense and getting some positive yardage.
Johnson was the Tigers' Rookie of the Year on the offensive side of the ball a year ago. No huddle. 2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard pickup by Johnson. Stedman Kapler is the fullback, and it will be Johnson straight ahead, and a 1st down for Jackson State out to the 40-yard line.
Pete, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now from this Jackson State offense. 2 plays, 2 I formation set, definitely trying to establish the run. This is a positive sign for Jackson State.
Now, Tennessee State defensively, their strength is really up front, and both coaches identified winning the line of scrimmage as being one of the keys to tonight's game. 1st down and 10. Johnson cuts back right into the arms of Justin North after a pickup of 2.
Great tackle by Justin North. He really stuck his head in the fan. That is an aggressive tackle. We've seen 3 straight runs, Pete. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a play action sooner than later.
Montez Ivy from East St. Louis, Illinois, went to the Manning Passing Academy in the offseason. Darrell Jackson challenged him to be more of a leader. There's the play-action pass. You called it, but under pressure, he's dropped. A backside hit from Vantavius Williams, the redshirt junior linebacker from Cordell, Georgia. Did not play in the Alabama State game. Violation of team rules, but makes an impact early.
Yes, they definitely overloaded the right side of the football field. They did a great job at coming underneath and coming over the top with some quality pressure, able to get a huge sack. Now, let's see what happens with this Jackson State offense. 3rd and 13.
They need the 50-yard line for the 1st down, and Ivy will operate from the gun.
Trips up.
Ivy, pocket holding up, crossing route, and a 1st down and more for Will Golston, tackled by Ezra Robinson. Will Golston, a senior from Mobile, Alabama.
Great play by Golston here. As you see, he had a very, very tight split, was able to run a crossing route, and Robinson has to make this tackle. Get your head in front and attack the far leg. If you attack the far leg, you definitely would get this receiver down. He was able to break that tackle and get a huge 1st down for Jackson State.
So Jackson State with a spirited response to the quick strike by Tennessee State. Single setback is Jarius Moore, and he carries for 4 to the 40-yard line. Latrell Lee makes the stop. Robert Johnson and Jarius Moore were high school teammates at Terry High School, Mississippi, so they call them the Terry Express. Johnson gets the start, but Moore getting an early call here. He led the Tigers in rushing a year ago with 380 yards, averaged 5 yards per carry. Gets 4 there to bring up 2nd down and 6. Takes the handoff again, spin move, gets him a 1st down at the 32-yard line. So the run and shoot offense has been doing more running than shooting it to this point.
Pete, we called it. We called it definitely early on in pregame, and I like what I'm seeing right now from this Jackson State offense. Robert Johnson, Jarius Moore, they're doing a great job at a 1-2 punch right now. Johnson is the bigger of the 2 backs. Jarius Moore is the faster guy.
To underline how important this is for Jackson State, last week, their net rushing total was 5 yards because of sacks to Ivy. Johnson able to get the edge and is dragged out at the 28-yard line.
Pete, that is the 2nd time we've seen a ball carrier for Jackson State be able to break, contain, and get outside. You have to set the edge in any defense. You have to set the edge. We have an old saying, you lose contain, you lose the game. You can't afford to allow the ball carrier to get outside of you.
Jackson State doing a very impressive job of moving the football. You know, last year they averaged just 102 rushing yards per game. Taking a shot down to the pylon, and it is Williams. He will set up a 1st and goal for Jackson State, and Ivy delivered the ball, a back shoulder throw covered by Burnell Brooks for Tennessee State, but it's good for a 1st and goal.
This is great throw and catch with Ivy and Williams. You talk about a back shoulder fade. That was pretty good coverage. That was pretty good coverage there by Brooks, but yet still an even better catch by Big Dan Williams, one of the best wide receivers in the SWAC.
26-yard hookup, and it is 1st and goal for Jackson State. Handoff, Johnson left side, touchdown, Jackson State.
Great job by Robert Johnson, 6 foot, 225 pounds. That is a big guy, especially when he's leaning forward, able to come through and get a huge, huge touchdown for Jackson State. Pete, that was an impressive drive.
It was a very impressive drive, largely accomplished on the ground with the exception of that 26-yard connection between Ivy and Dan Williams. Johnson with his 2nd career touchdown. Ryan Deasing will attempt the extra point. Darcy Williamson, the punter, will hold. A little more than 5 minutes. And we're an extra point away. And flags fly. Almost a delay of game on Jackson State. Let's get the call. Procedure penalty against Jackson State. So retreat 5 yards and start again. Deasing for his career 79 of 82 in extra points.
Oh. Remember that penalty.
Yes, indeed.
Remember that penalty.
So the PAT is unsuccessful, and so it is a 7-6 count in favor of Tennessee State. Johnson caps off a 10-play, 75-yard drive. The extra point fails. Tennessee State holds on to the lead.
We're the hottest.
Well, in 5.5 minutes, we've had plenty of fireworks already. Tennessee State with a 7-6 lead over Jackson State. Things got started with Patrick Smith, 64 yards on the reception from O'Shea Ackerman Carter, and TSU gets on the board first with the play action and the crossing route, and nobody's going to catch Patrick Smith.
Nobody. Definitely a great play action by Tennessee State.
And then Jackson State, well, they kept it on the ground most of the drive.
Yes, sir. Pete, this is old-fashioned football at its finest so far from Jackson State. They did a great job coming out in I formation. 3 straight times ran the ball. Definitely trying to have a more balanced attack, something that we mentioned early on, and I like what I'm seeing from Timmy Chang and this Jackson State offense.
Deans and Robinson back deep. As you look at Rod Reed, he loves smash mouth football, but he did not like the way that drive turned out. Robinson from the 8. Robinson against the grain and finally swarmed under. They will mark him at the 30-yard line, so that is where Tennessee State will put it in play. Darius Woods making the stop for Jackson State. Didn't really have time to get into the offensive identity of Tennessee State because one run, one pass, and they're in the end zone.
No question. Actually, it was 2 passes, Pete. You talk about a drag route and, of course, the play-action seam route. Definitely scored in a hurry. But yet still, this is a team that loves to ground and pound opposing defenses also.
Get a look at Ackerman Carter. Last week, 20 of 37 for 188 yards. Scan of the secondary. Has his receiver, Isaiah Jeffries Freeman, who is knocked out at the 39-yard line, a yard shy of the first down.
Great job by the offensive line. He was able to go through 4 different progressions there and sit in the pocket very, very comfortable, being able to execute a quality out route.
Ronald Butler, who played a lot last year, was in a spirited competition with Ackerman Carter for the starter's job, but Ackerman Carter got the nod as the better overall quarterback. Inside handoff to Tom Smith, the redshirt senior. He carries for the TSU first down to the 42-yard line, stopped by Javancy Jones. Javancy Jones is a guy VMAC, we're probably going to talk about a lot. Defensive tackle or defensive end. They flipped him inside tonight, normally a defensive end. Junior from Macon, Mississippi. Led Jackson State in total tackles a year ago and had 18 tackles for loss.
Wow.
Smith, the lone setback.
Great job, Jackson State.
Cutback lane was shut down after a pickup of 2. They'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
Yes.
It's Tedrick Terrell there to make the stop. Smith comes out of the ball game, so we would assume that Telvin Hooks would come into the backfield. Ackerman Carter looking to the sideline to get the play call. And Telvin Hooks is in for the first time tonight. Like Smith, a redshirt senior, a 1-2 punch, pretty much interchangeable, and early movement from the left side of the TSU line. So it'll be 2nd down and 13. Look at Telvin Hooks. Had 39 rushing yards against Alabama State. Had a touchdown as well. Three wideouts, and Hooks, the lone setback for Ackerman Carter. Steps up in the pocket, plenty of room to run, and he's dragged down at the 50-yard line, a couple yards shy of the first down by Keontre Anderson, who had a handful of jersey, and Ackerman Carter showing good pocket presence. However, there is a flag on the play at midfield, several flags on the play, and Ackerman Carter
is down and ailing and grabbing at his left arm. Well, we had been told by Rod Reed that we would likely see Ronald Butler at some point in the game, but he said it would be dictated by the flow of the game. He certainly didn't want it to be dictated by injury. And Ackerman Carter apparently landing on the left forearm, elbow, and putting a lot of stress on the shoulder, and the medical staff for Tennessee State out to take a look at their starting quarterback. Ackerman Carter was named the Ohio Valley Conference Newcomer of the Week. He was also the John Merritt Classic Offensive MVP for his performance last Saturday. We'll step aside as they tend to Ackerman Carter. Midway through the first quarter, TSU a 7-6 lead. O'Shea Ackerman Carter falling awkwardly, a lot of weight on that left arm as he went to the ground after that long run. He is headed to the Tennessee State locker room, so Ronald Butler is back in. Now, he played 6 games. He started 2 behind Mike German, and 2 years ago, he was all OVC second team. So it is not an inexperienced backup in Ronald Butler that Rod Reed and Tennessee State will rely on. After the penalty, it's 3rd down and 17, and guns over the middle to Patrick Smith. Smith moves from the secondary again, eluding defenders inside the 20, and spun down, or spun out of bounds more precisely, at the 16-yard line, and more flags on the field. Brandon Maiden eventually made the stop, but Patrick Smith with a couple of big
personal
plays.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, 44 defense. Half the distance to the goal line will be added on. 1st down.
Pete, looks like another seam route by Patrick Smith. The defenders for Jackson State, they have to do a better job of playing their leverage. You got to have inside leverage on these guys, because that is the 3rd time we've seen a quality seam route by Tennessee State.
Personal foul called against Rodney Shorter, so a 49-yard pickup on the pass and run for Patrick Smith. The personal foul penalty pushes it half the distance to the goal, so just outside the 7-yard line for Ronald Butler and Tennessee State. Hooks the lone setback for receivers. Hooks with a seam off the left side, diving for the end zone, and no signal yet.
Great job. Good job by Hooks being able to break a few tackles and get the ball across the plane. That was a very, very impressive drive once again by Tennessee State.
Big crease up the middle. And I was waiting for a signal because the ball did come loose. And neither official, either pylon, put his hands up. But it's 13-6. That's the count. Clark on for the extra point, and it is good. Tennessee State, 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns. Telvin Hooks with his 2nd touchdown of the year. (14-6) Tennessee State with the lead. That last drive, 6 plays, 70 yards, 2 minutes, 35 seconds. And Ackerman Carter back in the bench area. Telvin Hooks carries 7 yards to cap off the drive. And again, we're seeing Tennessee State working between the hashes.
Yes, having a lot of success between the hashes. And the throw between the hashes, Pete, that's an easier throw. That's an easier throw. So right now, if I'm Coach Lee with Jackson State, I want to emphasize to my guys on the back end, play inside leverage. Make them complete throws outside of the numbers. Those are more difficult of a pass for any quarterback to complete.
This is Moore on the return, breaking a tackle and dragged down at the 29-yard line. Well, the TSU quarterbacks, whoever's been throwing the ball, they're perfect. They're 4 for 4 for 130 yards and a touchdown.
Hearing those numbers, Pete, O'Shea, Ackerman, Carter, he has to be trying to get back into the ball game because he started on fire.
Jackson State has been issued their first sideline warning. First sideline warning, Jackson State.
Jackson State hit with a sideline warning. B-Mac, this is such a spirited game. Emotions sometimes get the better of players. We've already seen a personal foul, now a sideline warning. And Ivy will work from under center. Off of play action. Ivy throwing the deep ball for Williams, and a leaping grab by Dan Williams at the 22-yard line.
Play action, deep post route by Dan Williams. Pretty good coverage there by Terrell Bounds, corner from Miami, Florida, but yet and still you're going against a big body. That is a big target. You talk about Dan Williams, 6'3", 211. Terrell is only 5'9", 178, and he's on the outside shoulder. He has no chance at making a play on the ball.
On 1st and 10, Johnson gets the handoff, picks up about a yard. That was a 49-yard connection to Dan Williams. Now, you know who Jimmy Smith is, right?
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Smith has been a mentor to Dan Williams and says he can be really, really good. And Dan Williams says, what about the records at JSU? Jimmy Smith says, you need to start thinking about the next level, son.
And he's showing it off today. He's been doing that his entire career here at Jackson State. If you don't know who Dan Williams is, watch a few ball games at Jackson State. You definitely will know.
2nd down and 9. Ivy keeps on the option and is spun down at the 17-yard line. Justin North makes the tackle for Tennessee State. That'll bring up 3rd down and long.
This is a big down for Jackson State. Big down. 3rd and long. Let's see if they continue to stand by the identity of this team so far offensively and ground and run the football, or try to work the short game.
Last Saturday, Jackson State was 4 of 16 on 3rd down. And last year, they converted just under 30% of their 3rd down chances. We've had 3 quarterbacks throw passes in this game, B-Mac, and We haven't had an incomplete pass yet. Ivy keeps the streak alive right at the sticks. It's caught by Devin Falsopin, and Kevin Kamara pushes him out of bounds. The only question is it enough for a first down? And it is. First down from the 11-yard line. Ivy set a school record, completing 64% of his passes a year ago, and he's at 100% tonight. Johnson dragged down in the backfield. Good penetration by Vantavius Williams for a loss on the play of about 1.
Williams recognized the gap, went and ran through it and made a good play. That was a great run recognition by Williams.
Williams transferred from Fort Scott Community College, played safety there, 6'1", 215, a redshirt junior. That'll bring up second down and 11.
On Tennessee State, beware of number 81.
Jackson State has called their first timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Jackson State calls a timeout. Second down and 11. What do you think Harold Jackson is going to tell Lamontiez Ivy?
Well, you don't have to get it all in this play. Take what the defense gives you. This is a good quality drive, being able to answer the call on a touchdown by Tennessee State. So right now it's second down. You don't have to go out and try to get 11 yards on this down. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a run on this second and long from Jackson State.
The first touchdown drive for Jackson State was all about running the football.
Exactly.
By and large, they have had success. It is a young Tennessee State defense, except on the front four. That is really their strength. But yet Jackson State's been equal to the task in the trenches to this point.
Exactly. Jackson State really believes they can run on this Tennessee State defense, especially the front four. And they have come out and really showed that they can run on this defense and be successful. So this is a great balanced attack that we all expected, and now they're executing it. They're executing the game plan and also being able to incorporate the play action.
Dan Williams lines up to the top of your screen on this second down and 11 play, and that's where they're going to go. Fade route, it's there, but incomplete, defended by Burnell Brooks.
Nice job by Burnell Brooks. Of course, he got beat early on in the back shoulder fade. He was able to locate the football. There you see him looking back for the football, understanding where it is, and making a good play on a great receiver.
That'll bring up third down and 11.
That was good coverage. Good coverage by Brooks.
Brooks, a redshirt senior from New Orleans. He was also his high school basketball team's MVP. Ivy, end zone. Appeared to be a hold in the end zone as Williams was going to the post.
There's no interference because it's been ruled uncatchable.
Ezra Robinson back on coverage.
Well, Ivy didn't give Williams a chance. He didn't give him a chance. This is a big body. We saw early on in the game, in this drive, he was able to come down on a huge post route. Give the wide receiver opportunity to make a play on the football.
Ryan Deasing, a 29-yard field goal attempt. Had a 51-yarder blocked and returned for a touchdown a week ago. And the kick is good. And so Jackson State is able to get points on the board. And Rod Reed looks on. He was telling his team before they took the field, it's a heavyweight fight, last man standing. And right now, B-Mac, we got a couple of teams throwing haymakers at each other.
Yeah, right now, both teams are coming out, running the football extremely well, throwing the football extremely well. But that was a good stop. That was a good stop by Tennessee State. Their defense came up and got a huge stop, being able to force them to 3 points. 3 points is a lot better than 7.
Well, Jackson State has really struggled recently. They have lost the last 3. They won those 2 in 2010 and 2011. Casey Terrio, just an outstanding quarterback who's now playing professionally in Germany. led Jackson State to a couple of wins in real shootout affairs. We're headed for another shootout here tonight. That drive, 8 plays, 59 yards, consuming 3 minutes and 10 seconds, culminating in a decent 29-yard field goal to make it 14-9. Tennessee State with a lead. There's your drive information. Again, it's Deans and Robinson back deep. Almost some confusion there. Actually, it's not Deans. And for Tennessee State, running it back, it's Gabe Scott, a freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, tackled by Joshua Edet. So they change up the return game. Gabe Scott giving Tennessee State excellent field position. A 49-yard return. Butler remains in at quarterback. On first down, Tom Smith carries. No gain on the play, bringing up second down and 10. Butler from Tallahassee, Florida. B-Mac, you know something about Tallahassee?
Yeah, a little something. A little something. They play good football in Tallahassee.
Yes, they do.
High school or collegiate.
Of course, Brian McFadden, my broadcast partner tonight, two-time Super Bowl champion, and before he won those rings, he was playing for Florida State. Second down for Butler. Butler out route. Bowens the tight end. Up to about the 35-yard line.
Good tackle by Brandon May, Jackson State. Secondary player.
Maiden, a sophomore from Clarksdale, Mississippi. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
This is a big 3rd down for Jackson State defense. Let's monitor and watch what Alonzo Lee decides to go with here.
Alonzo Lee, the defensive coordinator for Jackson State. Last year, TSU was 40% on 3rd down.
Trips to the bottom of the screen.
Smith, the lone setback in the block. And quarterback dropped, knifing in Kwame Bowens to take down Ronald Butler.
That is what we needed to see out of Jackson State defense. Didn't come out in the vanilla look. They really got exotic a little bit, brought an extra man, uncovered, came through with a huge sack. Bowens.
Kwame Bowens, it is his 4th career sack. First punt for either side tonight. Austin Rowley averaged 36.5 yards last weekend against Alabama State. Jarris Mall is back at the 10-yard line. Mall takes it inside his own 5-yard line, and not a good decision there as he's dropped at the 6.
Yes, as a returner, you're taught to put your heels on the 10-yard line. If you have to move back, let it go.
Jarris Mall wanted to make a big play. 3-yard return following a 50-yard punt by Rowley. Harold Jackson has to be, I think, overall pleased, particularly with the way that his team came out a little flat against Middle Tennessee State, gave up a 28-point second quarter, and really playing from so far behind, forced out of their game plan. They've been able to stay in their game plan with Lamontiez Ivy and their ability to run the football with Robert Johnson.
Yes, I like what I'm seeing right now from this Jackson State offense, running the football.
Williams goes in motion. Johnson to the wide side of the field, double teamed and taken down at the 6-yard line. David Kamara with the tackle.
Tennessee State, that was a good job on pursuing the football, because initially it looked like they had something going on the outside, but Tennessee State did a good job at running to the football and being aggressive.
Inside of a minute remaining here in the first quarter. Good backside pursuit by Tennessee State. 2nd and 9. Johnson gets it again, and again, there's not much there. And this is the Tennessee State defensive line that we expected to see from the get-go. They're flexing their muscle now.
Yes, sir. Pete, this is a big 3rd down for Tennessee State, because you look at what the ball is right now. Field position is a very, very important factor in football games.
And the final seconds of the first quarter roll off the clock. It has been an eventful first quarter. 14-9. The fans here have been treated to an offensive show early. But a big 3rd down coming up for Jackson State when the second quarter comes up next. Tonight's Southern Heritage Classic is brought to you by AutoZone. From parts to helpful advice, AutoZone has everything you need to get in the zone. AutoZone. And by Ewing Moving and Storage, people who make the right moves. An absolutely picture-perfect evening for football in the Mid-South. Big 3rd down for Jackson State, 3rd down and 7. Ivy over the middle. And it will be a 1st down. Devin Fosselman makes the grab. Devon Brandon with the tackle. Really like the poise from Lamontiez Ivy.
Exactly. He's doing a great job at going through his progressions and understanding what Tennessee State is giving him. He's taken advantage of it so far.
Went to the Manning Passing Academy, and Harold Jackson, his head coach, really challenged him to be more of a leader and to take charge of this football team. And on 1st down, throws to his tight end, Jabari Payton, to the 29-yard line.
And so far, Pete, Jackson State has done a good job at 1st down, being able to get positive yardage. And anytime you get 4 or more yards on 1st down, that is a win for the offense.
Yeah, they're not playing from behind the sticks at all. 2nd down, play action. Williams eludes one man, then knocked down at the 32-yard line. It'll be another Jackson State 1st down. Bantavius Williams with the stop for TSU.
Good throwing catch, positive yardage, being able to move the chains.
Offensive coordinator for Jackson State, Timmy Chang, said he was going to open up the playbook a little bit. It's also year 2 for Ivy in the run and shoot offense, and he looks much more comfortable this year than he did last. Fosselman has it on the right side, shoved out at the 40-yard line.
Good catch by Fosselman, but even a better block by Jarius Wall, being able to attack the defender and open up a lane for Fosselman. The wide receivers so far, Pete, have been doing a great job for Jackson State, being able to get quality blocks down the field.
And they've made catches as well, helping the quarterback out. That wasn't the best throw from Ivy, but Fosselman was able to latch onto it. Ball on the 39-yard line, pickup of 6. 2nd down for Ivy. Flag thrown on the play as Jarius Moore is dragged down at about the 42-yard line.
70 offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Dante Fisher, left tackle. True freshman from Houston, guilty of the infraction. That would be a textbook hold.
Fisher just got lazy with his feet work and his hand placement. Those are drive killers. Drive killers. You talk about a team that's been doing a good job moving the sticks, getting hit with a big holding penalty now. Long 2nd down. 2nd and long.
2nd down and 14 for Ivy.
Pete, you don't have to get it all in this one play. Like I mentioned early on in the red zone. Take what the defense gives you.
Ivy with time. But then Jarris Maul, the intended receiver, pass over his head, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long. There's Timmy Chang, second season as the offensive coordinator at Jackson State, played quarterback at Hawaii. Of course, June Jones coached the run and shoot at Hawaii. There is a layer of complexity with the run and shoot offense. The receivers and quarterback must be on the same page. They've got to read the defense. Ivy escaping the pocket, will tuck it, but will be held well short of the 1st down at the 37-yard line. Gabe Terry, who was also, along with Antavius Williams, a DNP coach's decision against Alabama State, makes the stop.
Yes, Gabe Terry, a very, very fast guy. He's a speed rusher. He's a guy who had 11.5 sacks in 2014. They did a great job in his pursuit, being able to get Ivy down, getting a big stop.
Now, Patrick Smith, who has had a couple of big pass and run plays, one for a touchdown, will return this punt from Darcy Williamson. Makes one-man miss, but that's about it. Patrick Smith dragged down in good coverage by Jackson State. TSU will put the ball in play from its own 26-yard line. Timeout on the field. 11:47 remaining in the 1st half. TSU with the lead. Early 2nd quarter action. Tennessee State with the lead, and O'Shea Ackerman-Carter, who fell awkwardly on his left arm, went to the locker room, has returned. He's led a touchdown drive. Ronald Butler has led a touchdown drive. Handoff to Hooks over the left side of the 29-yard line. Ackerman-Carter had the 64-yard pass to Patrick Smith on the 2nd play from scrimmage. Rod Reed telling us he's a very dedicated student in the video room.
You can tell by his numbers. 3 for 3, 80 yards and a touchdown.
Has 4 wide receivers in the pattern on 2nd down. Guns it to the left side and has Chris Sanders McCullum near 1st down yardage. Justin Jemison with the stop. Rod Reed was effusive in his praise of his entire receiving corps.
This is a very, very explosive receiving corps with Tennessee State. Ackerman-Carter did a great job at recognizing what the defense was giving him. Trips to the bottom of the field, going to the single wide receiver side, executing the throw.
We will have a measurement here to see if it is indeed a 1st down. And it is a 1st down for TSU. When we talked with Rod Reed and asked him about the quarterback competition between Ackerman-Carter and Ronald Butler, he said they're both very good quarterbacks. Ronald Butler is a little bit better sprinting out, but he said overall, when you look at the big picture, he felt Ackerman-Carter was just a little bit better at the whole skill set, and that's why he's got the starting nod. Although Rod Reed has no issue putting Ronald Butler in the ball game. Tonight it was due to injury, but we may see him again even if Ackerman-Carter is healthy. Hooks on a delay to the 39 for a pickup of about 3. Sean Bishop with the tackle, the outside linebacker for Jackson State. Second down and 7 for Ackerman-Carter and TSU. Again, 4 receivers. Hooks into block. Pressure. Ackerman-Carter is dragged down. And the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Incomplete.
Sean Bishop applying pressure.
Pete, that is the same formation we saw 2 plays ago when they converted their first down. Remember, it was trips to the bottom of the screen. They ran a hitch route. Now, they went with the hitch and go. Justin Jemison, the corner for Jackson State, did a great job at recognizing the hitch and go, understanding they were trying to get him on a double move, was able to play honest coverage, and the pressure collapsed on Ackerman Carter.
And the hand was coming forward. 3rd down and 7. Ackerman Carter pressure. That's tipped and nearly intercepted. It was nearly intercepted by Stacy Noble. He made a diving grab for it, but the pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. And Jackson State gets a stop.
Big stop by Jackson State. They actually had it here, but a good job at being able to get a hand on the football, being disruptive in pass rush.
Well, Taylor Washington got his hand on it. Noble nearly the interception.
Being able to get some positive yards on this punt return would be big for Jackson State.
Jarris Mall back at his own 20, and this punt from Austin Rowley is not a good one.
Pete, that's even better.
Linesman continues his trot up the field, and boy, the ball's going to be spotted at the 47-yard line. Tailgating at the Southern Heritage Classic presented by FedEx. Burgers, brats, dogs, barbecue, whatever you want. It was on the grill in abundance today here in Memphis. With 2-time Super Bowl champion Brian McFadden, I'm Pete Pranica. Tennessee State, Jackson State. Got a good one brewing here. A lot of offense, which is fairly typical of this game. On 1st down, handoff. Johnson, Robert Johnson, is greeted rudely for no gain. Let's take a look at some offensive numbers. I'll give you an idea. Jackson State last week had 271 yards of total offense. They have 176, and we still have 9.5 minutes remaining in the first half. There are going to be some unhappy defensive coordinators at halftime, I suspect.
I formation once again.
Johnson, tail of the tandem. Good initial crease. To the 49-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and long. Harold Jackson, he's coached in the NFL as an assistant with New England, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and in 5 other collegiate programs. 16 years as an NFL wide receiver. 3rd down for Ivy. Pocket collapses, and the pass through the hands of Dan Williams.
He had Dan Williams open. Ivy has to do a better job.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
And Jackson State gets a gift-wrapped 1st down as the ball will move to the other side of the field into TSU territory. Rob Reed says, who is it? Our referee tonight, Matt Young, did not identify the player guilty of the infraction. Ball just shy of the 35-yard line for Ivy. Johnson trying to get the edge, a stiff arm, and out of bounds he goes at the 32. L'Aquarius Cook escorted him to the chalk. BMAC, we talked about Ivy and the Tigers wanting to be more insistent on establishing the run. They did it early. Can't get away from that.
No, you got to keep going. You got to keep going.
Play action for Ivy. Deep ball right side, and it is incomplete, but pass interference is going to be called on Ezra Robinson.
We also have a flag in the backfield.
They were trying to get it to Daniel Williams. No surprise there. Will we have offsetting fouls?
There were 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference, defense number 21, holding number 75. The foul's offset. Replay, second down.
Robinson, a transfer from Michigan State. So his mistake erased by a Donnell Pastor holding call. Tennessee State already with 1 big penalty on this drive, a roughing the passer call that gave Jackson State a first down. So after all that, second down at 6 from the 32.
Second down at 6 would be a great rundown for Jackson State.
Ivy has 2 halfbacks.
Infraction, 60 offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's Marcus Cook, preseason all-conference pick, guilty of the infraction. But that time, to my way of remembering, BMAC, that's the first time we saw Robert Johnson and Jarius Moore in the backfield at the same time.
Thunder and lightning, Pete. That is a good combination to have. But now you move back because of a mental error. Very, very difficult second and long down. They're looking like they're coming out in the same formation before the penalty.
Both members of the Terry Express are in. More carries. Across the 35 to the 34-yard line. Still third down and long.
Pete, if Ivy would have kept the football, he had something up top. He had a great option of Johnson running outside of him, or either keeping the football or just running for daylight. He had a lot of grass in front of him.
Got a lot of hand signals going on. Ivy takes it all in.
Pete trips to the top. The best wide receiver is at the bottom of the screen. I wouldn't be surprised if Ivy looks his way.
Said he'll go the other way. Oh, tremendous hit. Jarris Maul gets lit up by Burnell Brooks.
Talk about knocking the man away from the football. That he did.
Incomplete forward pass.
That is an honest tackle. Separating the football away from the wide receiver. Big stop by Tennessee State. Big stop.
And it appears that Jackson State is going to go for it here on 4th and 8. They need the 26-yard line. I beg your pardon. They are in punt formation. Williamson. And they were able to down it. Oh, no, they're going to wave touchback.
The ruling is a touchback. Timeout.
Pretty well placed punt by Darcy Williamson, but it's still a touchback. 14-9, Tennessee State with the lead. The offenses have calmed down a little bit, BMAC. Both defenses starting to get into a groove here. Following the touchback, Ackerman Carter. Inside handoff, Smith. Smith reversing his field, and he's in big-time trouble.
Big-time trouble. Running the wrong direction. Initially, Patrick Smith had the edge. He didn't believe it. I really believe he had an opportunity of getting outside and breaking contain, but yet still he wanted to make a play, and that was good pursuit by Jackson State defense. Look here on the replay. Just keep it going. Go where the play is supposed to go. Don't try to make a play out of something that you believe is there. Do what the playbook tells you to do.
Cornelius Henderson celebrates the takedown, a preseason all-conference pick. It's a loss of 7. Smith popping through a hole, but then dragged down. Ankle tackle by Preston Hughes.
Smith made something out of nothing there, Pete. You talk about being locked up at the line of scrimmage and was able to break a few tackles right there. 1 tackle. 2. Nice tackle by Preston Hughes, though, because if Preston doesn't make that tackle, Smith is still running right now.
3rd down and 12. In the first quarter, Ackerman Carter and Ronald Butler had success throwing the ball between the hashes.
Pete, looked like a man-to-man defense by Jackson State.
3 wideouts. Ackerman Carter over the top. And a flag will fly in. Pass interference called on Justin Jemison as they were trying to hit Sanders McCullum. Harold Jackson arguing that the ball was uncatchable.
Pass interference, defense number 2. Automatic first down.
Justin panicked a little bit when the ball was in the air. Just relax. Play your coverage.
I can see Harold Jackson's argument, but the interference disrupted the receiver to a point where it would have been uncatchable.
Big penalty there because clearly Ackerman Carter had nothing going on. He just threw the ball away, Pete. Justin has to trust his technique and just play quality football.
Jeff Parker is the offensive coordinator for Tennessee State. Ackerman Carter played 1 season at the Georgia Prep Sports Academy in 2013 after 2 years at Trinity Christian High School. 1st down and 10 for TSU. Ackerman Carter. And Smith had it in his hands. Ackerman Carter led him a little bit too much. Incomplete pass will bring up 2nd down. Pressure from Keontre Anderson. Rod Reed and company looking at 2nd down and 10. Three wide receivers. Smith, the lone setback. He's got it. He's got blockers across the 40 and the 45 for a TSU 1st down.
Good quickness by Smith, Tom Smith on the run there. Of course, once again, you see him get outside leverage, break containment, understanding what the defense was giving him. Good job by Smith.
Javancy Jones with a takedown from behind. 5 minutes and change remaining here in the first half. TSU scored on its 2nd play from scrimmage, 64 yards. Patrick Smith from O'Shea Ackerman Carter. Smith hit in the hole. Good initial penetration by Anderson again. And Anderson wants to continue to eat. 6'4", 230. Well, he didn't have the opportunity to go to the tailgate.
Yes, he's probably hungry, Pete. He's playing some inspired football right now.
Sophomore from Canton, Mississippi. He was the Tigers' Defensive Rookie of the Year a year ago. Smith looking for a cutback lane. Not much there. Picks up 4 to the midfield marker.
Jackson State, that's a better job at recognizing what Tennessee State is trying to do. They were able to set the edge of the defense and force the runner back inside. Great adjustment by Jackson State.
Alonzo Lee, their defensive coordinator. They went from a 3-4 back to a 4-3. And also in fall camp, the Jackson State defense picked up a blast from the past, calling their defense the dark side. And the dark side trying to deny TSU on a 3rd down and 6 from the midfield stripe. Ackerman Carter with time. Bowens reaching for the marker. And I believe he has it. Brandon Maiden with the tackle. But Joe Bowens, the senior from South Carolina, stretches out.
4th down.
Nope, just shy.
4-down territory, Pete.
Ackerman Carter walks over to the sideline to get the signal. As Bowens came up just short, there wasn't even a measurement. The officials were decisive in their placement of the football. Less than a yard, 4th down and 1.
Watch the football.
Hooks is in the backfield, and he powers through for a TSU first down. Hooks is their speed guy. Tom Smith is a little bit more of a power runner. But there it was Hooks into a crease for the first down. And the wave is going here at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Bowens goes in motion now to the left side. And that will draw a flag for procedure, I believe.
False start, 76, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Evan Clay, right tackle, leaving early. The fans at the Southern Heritage Classic always have a good time. We will have the bands perform at halftime. The Sonic Boom of the South, the aristocrat of bands, will bring that to you along with first half highlights and stats. The AutoZone halftime report upcoming. Ackerman Carter over the top to Bowens off play action to the 34-yard line, 2 yards short of a first down.
Nice completion there on first down with the play action.
Like the poise of Ackerman Carter.
Yes, yes. He's very comfortable in the pocket right now. You got to put pressure on the young fella. You got to put pressure on the young fella. You can't allow this guy to continue to establish confidence like he's doing right now. 2nd down and 2.
We're inside of 2 minutes. Tennessee State has all 3 of its timeouts remaining.
Free play. Free play.
Offside. Deep ball. And through the hands of the intended receiver, Isaiah Jeffries Freeman.
I like the thought process of Ackerman Carter, understanding that Jackson
Offside.
State...
Defense number 37. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Pete understands Jackson State jumped offside. He had a free play. Take a shot downfield.
That was right on the money.
He was actually 2 steps away from getting a defensive pass interference also.
Get a first down.
So not only did they get a free play that almost resulted in a touchdown, the 5-yard walk-off results in a TSU first down. 91 seconds remaining in the first half. Again, Tennessee State has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Smith, who caught the first touchdown of the game, is in the slot on the left side. And now Ackerman Carter will call the first TSU timeout of the half.
Timeout, 30 seconds.
So, BMAC, you've got 29 yards to cover here in 1:31. You've used your first timeout. If you're Rod Reed and his offensive coordinator, Jeff Parker, how do you play the final 91 seconds of the half?
Just take what the defense is giving you, Pete. Coach Reed is a guy, he isn't considered to be an aggressive coach. He understands the tendencies of the game, the situations of the football game. They have done a good job at taking up a lot of time on this clock. It's 1:31 right now. You're in no rush. Continue to do what you've been doing so far. Live by the run, live by the play action. It's 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line right now. There's no reason to be aggressive. Just be patient. You're in a win-win situation right here. You're already in field goal range. Take what the defense gives you.
6th year at TSU for Rod Reed, promoted to head coach in 2010 after working on the defensive side of the ball since 2003, and of course an outstanding player for TSU as well. 1st and 10 from the 29 for Ackerman Carter. Motion by Smith. Ackerman Carter with plenty of time, but an inaccurate throw They brought Smith in motion across the formation, and he was the intended receiver.
Got him in the flat on a wheel route. He definitely had him. Just take your time with the throw. That was a good win down for Jackson State. Now 2nd and long, 2nd and 10. You would like to see Tennessee State try to be conservative here, get some positive yards going on, maybe a run or a screen play, something to get the chains to move.
Clock is stopped on the incomplete pass with 1:25 remaining in the first half. 2nd down, Ackerman Carter, heavy pressure coming from the backside. And nobody there for the deep ball. Pressure being applied by Tedrick Terrell, among others. And his arm got hit on the release. Terrell coming around from the backside.
Good speed rush by Terrell there, being able to beat the tackle. Putting some pressure on Ackerman Carter.
Lane Clark is the field goal kicker. He was 8 of 15 a year ago. His long last year was 46. Right now it would be right around a 46-yard field goal if TSU doesn't gain anything further. 3rd down, Ackerman Carter, pressure over the middle. And that'll be a 1st down. It's Jeffries Freeman making the grab. Kwame Bowens with the tackle, but it is 1st down for TSU.
Javonte Jones did a great job at beating his blocker, but yet still the coverage wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough. That is the 4th time so far in this first half, Pete, that we've seen Tennessee State come out in a bunch of alignment to the wide side of the football field. You're getting a flat route, which is a route to the nearest sideline, a corner route, and a drag route.
2 receivers right, 1 left for Ackerman Carter on 1st down.
2nd charge timeout, Tennessee State. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Clock stopped at 44 seconds remaining. Daryl Jackson, I would think, has to be pleased with where his team is given how they played a year ago in this game and a week ago against Middle Tennessee State.
Yes, they have improved, especially from last week. But early on, you talk about blown assignments on the back end. Tennessee State was able to capitalize on the mistakes of Jackson State defense. But so far, they have calmed down, played more consistent defense. But you would like for them to kind of turn up a little bit. Pete, we used to have an old saying in Tallahassee when I was at Florida State. Just because they get down here doesn't mean they have to score.
This would be a huge stop for Jackson State, and they'll get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Pressure from the backside. Smith on an inside screen is dragged down at the 15-yard line for essentially no gain. The clock continues to roll down to 32 seconds remaining. Tennessee State only 1 timeout remaining. Ball on the 16. Clock down to 23 seconds. Ackerman Carter standing tall in the pocket. Bowens diving for the 1st down marker and the sideline marker. Got them both. This will be a 1st and goal for TSU, and Bowen stops the clock with 12 seconds remaining in the half. Justin Jemison on the coverage. Joe Bowens has been a very vital offensive factor for TSU tonight. But we talked about the poise, BMAC, of Ackerman Carter and reading progressions, and you could see he was checking everything out.
He went through every progression. Every wide receiver target he had, he went through.
Smith is the lone setback. Smith goes in motion on 1st and goal, and a flag flies.
False start for offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Rodney Morris, a backup tight end. So walk the ball back 5 yards. So it'll be 1st and goal from just outside the 10-yard line. Again, Smith the lone setback out of the gun. Ackerman Carter. Pump fake. Throws in. Zone. Touchdown, Bowens.
Jackson State can't afford to have that happen. Big play by Tennessee State. Big play by Ackerman Carter. Once again, you talked about how poised he has been in the pocket so far. Good throw, good catch, touchdown, Tennessee State.
Bowens with his first touchdown of the year, and Lane Clark on for the extra point. Tennessee State managed the last 91 seconds of the first half very, very well. And again, we're seeing Jackson State vulnerable in the secondary, in the middle.
Yes, sir. Tennessee State doing what they do best. This is a team that understands the tendencies and the situations of a football game. Take what Jackson State is giving them, took it and went down the field and scored a huge touchdown with 7 seconds to go in the game, Pete.
80 yards, 15 plays, 6 minutes, 57 seconds. Capped off 10 yards to Bowens on the post.
And Bowens did a good job at selling the out route. We call that a shake route. He went like he initially came off the line of scrimmage like he was going to run a out route, bent it up top. And in Jackson State, they were in a zone coverage, looked like cover 2. And as the middle linebacker, you have to run the middle read. You can't allow a tight end to run that shake route on you and get open in the middle of the football field, because both safeties are on the hash mark. They're playing deep half, so you have to be able to understand the situation and know that Tennessee State, they're trying to get in the end zone. They're trying to get in the end zone, protect the goal line.
Clark has it on the tee. Bingham and Moore are back deep with 7 seconds remaining in the first half. Little squib kick taken on a knee by one of the up men. And so the clock stops with 6 seconds remaining.
Please put 7 seconds.
Stedman Kapler, the fullback,
7 seconds.
grabbed the ball, dropped to a knee. They've added a second. Now 7 seconds remaining. See if Ivy takes a knee or if they go the Hail Mary route.
Take a knee, Pete.
From the 24-yard line, I would tend to agree with you.
Go back in, regroup, make a few adjustments. You got 2 quarters left to play.
And that is exactly what Jackson State will do. And that'll do it for the first half. Tennessee State
That is the end.
getting contributions from wideout Joe Bowen, tight end Joe Bowens, and wideout Patrick Smith. And a very strong first half from O'Shea Ackerman Carter, building a 21-9 lead over Jackson State. The battle of the bands, the aristocrat of bands, and the sonic boom of the South. All the halftime pageantry and color of the Southern Heritage Classic is on the way next.
You guys finished.
Halftime at the Southern Heritage Classic presented by FedEx. Tennessee State leading Jackson State 21-9. But it is never a Southern Heritage Classic without the battle of the bands. We've seen the aristocrat of bands. Time now for Jackson State University's Sonic Boom of the South. O'Neal Sanford is the interim director of the band. They have taken the field here at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, mic check. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Memphis, Tennessee, and the Southern Heritage Classic are proud to bring to you the most exciting show in all the land. Musical excellence and unparalleled sportsmanship are trademarks of this outstanding aggregation. The band has performed at numerous sold-out venues all over America, including last year's breathtaking show at the Honda Battle of the Bands in Atlanta, Georgia. From Harlem to Hollywood to Jackson, Mississippi, you are witnessing the Tiger Run-On that's smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the summa cum laude bands, the Jackson State University Sonic Boom of the South. Tonight's show pays tribute to the legendary godfather of soul, James Brown, beginning with It's a Man's World. Out your seats and let's have a funky good time. Take 'em higher, Boom. The Sonic Boom is gonna take you higher. Keep your eyes focused on Drill Execution 101 as we move and groove and make you proud to be living in America. Memphis, I don't know about you, but the Sonic Boom is still having a funky good time. All Jackson 5 drum majors, get up off of that thing and strut till you feel better. and show out. Tantalizingly beautiful and oh so lovely. They are the Prancing J-Sets, performing to Crushed by Sierra. Gotta love those Prancing J-Sets. If you are a fan of the Godfather of Soul, then let's turn up, cause I know you remember this one. I Feel Good. You can bet your bottom dollar you'll never hear me holler till you see the boom to the James Brown. It's the man himself, James and little James Brown. Work it, James. It's the Boom theme song. Get ready. JSU is for Jackson State University, Mississippi's comprehensive urban university. The number 77 that you see is for the founding year of Jackson State, 1877. All right, Tiger fans, you know what time it is. Southern Heritage Classic, your very own I Heart Memphis, as we hit the Quan. Hit the Quan, boom, hit the Quan.
Hit the Quan.
The Jackson State University Interim Director of Bands is Mr. O'Neal Sanford. The marching band is directed by Mr. Roderick Little. The Associate Director is Mr. Lowell Hollinger. The Assistant Director is Mr. Jan Leggett. The Prancing J-Sets are directed by Miss Chloe Ashley Crowley. This has been the voice of the Sonic Boom, Richard Myers. On behalf of our president, Dr. Carolyn Myers, thank you and good evening.
I would tell you to turn on your mic.
Halftime at the Liberty Bowl, 21-9, Tennessee State with the lead over Jackson State. Pete Pranica, Brian McFadden, and B-Mac, what did you see in that first half after Tennessee State got out to the early lead and a good response from Jackson State?
Yes, good response by Jackson State, coming out and trying to establish the run, something that we alluded to early on before the game. Did a great job at being able to have a balanced attack tonight. Ivy has done a good job being able to distribute the football across the football field. Of course, Dan Williams has some huge plays for Jackson State, but yet and still Tennessee State has been able to rally back and come out on top in the first half.
Now Tennessee State, quick strike offense. O'Shea, Carter, Ackerman. This is right over the top, seam route, and Smith goes home untouched.
Second play of the game, you're talking about coming out and setting the tone. They definitely set the tone early on. Second play, scoring a touchdown.
But then a 75-yard drive, largely on the ground. Robert Johnson carries it over. Missed on the PAT, so it is 7-6 TSU at this point. Then Telvin Hooks, he gets to the end zone. And Tennessee State starting to find a bit of a rhythm and then executing a very good 2-minute drill.
Yes, sir. 2-minute drill done to perfection. We talk about Ackerman Carter sitting comfortable in the pocket. And right now, you look at all the big plays from the passing game. All the passes have come between the hashes.
We'll be back with the second half from the Liberty Bowl. 21-9 TSU heading to the third.
I had you on the telephone.
Ready for second half action here at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. The 26th Southern Heritage Classic presented by FedEx. Jackson State will get it first to start the second half. And B-Mac, that's what made the inability of Jackson State to get a stop at the end of the first half so big. Had they been able to hold TSU to just a field goal and then get the ball to start the third quarter, would have been a big plus for them.
Yes, sir.
This one coming down to Moore. Dragged down at the 20-yard line. Stopped by Gabe Terry.
During my time, Pete, with Pittsburgh, played under legendary Hall of Fame coach Dick LeBeau, and he used to always emphasize to the team the two most important possessions of a football game, the first possession of the game and the first possession after halftime. So very, very exciting to see how this Jackson State team comes out offensively.
That remains just a two-score game, so I don't think Timmy Chang has to think about getting away from his game plan, which they wanted to be more balanced and run the ball more. They did it with great success on their first drive. Johnson picking his way patiently. Picks up about 4. That'll bring up second down and 6.
4 yards on first down definitely is a win for the offense.
Something I've been wanting to ask you, B-Mac, you've played in a number of rivalry games, whether it's Florida, Florida State, Miami. As Johnson is dragged down for a loss, but a flag comes in. What's the psychology of playing in these rivalry games?
Well, first and foremost, when you're playing in a tense rivalry, you got to throw records out of the window, numbers out of the window, because this is a game that both teams anticipate during the start of the season, during summer workouts. You pencil, you look at the schedule and you circling that particular game, and you just got to come out and focus.
Half the distance to the goal line. Second out.
Chop block is the call. And so that will take it back half the distance to the goal. The two-time Super Bowl champion Brian McFadden. I'm Pete Pranica. We are at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, the Southern Heritage Classic, 26th version of the Classic and the 24th time that Jackson State and Tennessee State have hooked up. Second down and long. Ivy cut down at the 5. Chris Collins there to make the tackle. Collins is down. Collins played very well with Vantavius Williams out due to suspension. Got run over by his own player.
Jackson State tried to run a rollout to the wide side of the football field, and Collins just recognized what was going on with the play and went and attacked Ivy. Came up big on a sack.
Collins in full sprint, sophomore from Fairburn, Georgia, had 4 tackles in the John Merritt Classic against Alabama State. And Rod Reed was very, very pleased with his play.
And Pete, I just talked about wanted to see how Jackson State come out after halftime, seeing some of the adjustments that Coach Jackson will make, and instantly you're starting to see the offense go backwards, losing yardage. Right now, 3rd and 25. Tennessee State definitely is. They're in a great situation to be in this third and long.
Operator, please put play clock on 40 seconds. Thank you.
If you're looking for Dan Williams, he's to the top of the formation. 3rd down and 25. They need the 30-yard line. Ivy from the gun. Here comes the rush. And nearly intercepted. Terrell Bonds had a beat on that. Sophomore from Miami, Florida.
Good job by Terrell, recognizing Ivy. Of course, Ivy and the wide receiver definitely wasn't on the same page. The wide receiver ended up running a deep route. Devin Fossman, Terrell, eyes on the quarterback, seeing the ball. Would have been huge if he was able to come down with that interception.
Smith back to return the punt. And Darcy Williamson, and good pressure by TSU. Smith from his 43 of Jackson State, down the sideline, eluding tacklers, and pushed out at the 16, make it the 15-yard line. Patrick Smith is a guy that Rod Reed identified to us as having big play ability. Already scored 1 touchdown and a big return here.
Right now, he's the player of the game. It's especially the player of the game when it comes to Tennessee State team. He has been doing some good things since the start of this ball game, and this team has definitely used the momentum right before halftime. Pete scoring that critical touchdown right before halftime, came out with a big stop defensively. Now you look at the ball. They had the ball on the 15-yard line going in.
38-yard punt, 28-yard return. So a net 10-yard punt. And Tennessee State, even though it is early in the 3rd quarter, perhaps poised to drop the hammer here. Ackerman Carter. Inside hooks, big hole.
Big hole.
Inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Xavier Bingham with the tackle for Jackson State. Well, credit Dick LeBeau, the old pro. First possession of the second half can mean a lot, particularly if TSU is able to capitalize on the Jackson State penalty and the big return by Smith. Hooks, another big hole. And he powers to the 2. Exactly. And it will be 1st and goal for Tennessee State. Rod Reed told us that Hooks is the speed guy.
Yes.
He's been running between the guards real well.
Speed guy. Looks like the power guy to me, Pete. He's running mad. He's angry. He's running with a chip on his shoulder. And he's always falling forward.
Hooks remains in as the lone setback. 1st and goal for Ackerman Carter. Give it to Hooks. Why not? Push him forward and into the end zone for the Tennessee State touchdown. 2nd touchdown of the night for Telvin Hooks.
Second touchdown by Hooks. Good drive on a short field. 3 straight plays. Hook carried the football. He's running angry, Pete. He's hungry. He's looking for the end zone.
And post-game, he's going to eat.
Well, he may be full by post-game, Pete. He's eating a lot right now.
Lane Clark on for the extra point. High snap. But Clark puts it through. 28-9, Telvin Hooks making his case for game MVP. Second touchdown of the night, and TSU extends its lead.
We're the hot.
Well, Tennessee State has won the last 3 meetings in the series, and they extend their lead to 28-9 on a Telvin Hooks 2-yard touchdown run, his second rushing touchdown. Just needed 3 plays. And in this run, where TSU has dominated the series, the last 3 meetings coming into tonight, TSU had outscored Jackson State 99-35. Bingham and Moore are back. This will be Moore from the 6. Good special teams coverage. Moore covered up at the 21-yard line. Jarius Moore 15 yards on the return.
During the return, holding 25, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Once again, Pete, Jackson State Stars out, backed up in their own territory.
Now, these are the mistakes that Harold Jackson talked about when we visited with him earlier in the week. He said our team has to be more consistent. What hurt us last season is what we did to ourselves. We cannot continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. And against a Tennessee State team that's awfully good, you have to be virtually mistake-free.
Exactly. You're playing against an experienced team. And right now, they're still in the ball game, Pete. There's no need to get out of the offensive strategy. Continue to run the ball, use play action. Just be patient. Be patient.
Ivy will work from under center. Moore dancing through the hole and near a first down. About the 16, maybe the 17-yard line before tackled by Dinsdale Jackson. As you look at Telvin Hooks, big night for him. And Hooks is one of those guys, this is the last time he'll play in the Southern Heritage Classic, and he's going out with a bang. Pickup of 9 on that last play. Option, Moore, first down. Jarius Moore, last week, had 5 carries for -9 yards. It's been a better rushing and blocking effort from Jackson State this week.
Yes, sir. Something that they emphasized on all along. Establishing the run. They have done a pretty good job at running the football, but the penalties definitely has hurt this team, especially offensively.
Ivy now will work out of the gun. Moore and Kapler, the backfield tandem. Pressure comes. Ivy in trouble, and down he goes at the 12-yard line. Demetro Stevens Jr., a true freshman, there to make the play from his outside linebacker position.
Initially, he had enough time in the pocket, Pete, Ivy, but Tennessee State secondary did a good job at being able to not allow any separation from the wide receivers of Jackson State, forcing Ivy out of the pocket and ultimately coming up with a sack.
3rd down and 15. TSU a year ago averaged 3.5 sacks per game. Ivy feels the pressure, swings it out. Williams out to the 29-yard line, and that will be good enough for a Jackson State first down.
Big pickup on 3rd and 15, just throwing a quick screen pass to Dan Williams. He continues to impress me throughout the course of this ball game. This is a big-time wide receiver.
And just a junior. Got a screen out there in space to Jarris Mall, the senior from Louisiana.
Okay, now we're starting to see a little up-tempo with the offense of Jackson State.
And no huddle.
Got a rhythm going on.
4 wideouts for Ivy. A handoff to Moore, bouncing off tacklers, and now dragging tacklers to the 49-yard line. Maybe a half-yard shy of the first down.
Looking at some of the defensive linemen for Tennessee State, they have their hands on their waist. That's the first sign of seeing fatigue.
Looks like Jackson State's first drive of the game where they went 75 yards. Williams again stays on his feet, stays in bounds. Finally taken down at the 41. First down again for Jackson State. You have to figure if Jackson State's going to get back in this ball game, they are going to need Dan Williams. Big plays in order to get this deficit erased. First and 10.
Right now, what you're seeing out of Tennessee State, a team that isn't prepared. Look like the same team right now this drive, Pete, that we saw against Alabama State. Lack of communication, not being prepared and getting to their assignment.
Jarris Mall caught that last pass for a pickup of 6. Second down and 4. Ivy trying to step up, heavy pressure. One-handed grab is made. Benjamin Thomas, the junior out of Alabama, and it's another Jackson State first down. Poised by Ivy, good hands by Thomas.
Jackson State, you can't afford to let your foot off the gas. Keep going, keep going. This rhythm is working for this offense. Do not let up.
And a
timeout, Tennessee State.
Big timeout by Tennessee State.
Timeout.
And Rod Reed
30-second
wanted to slow down Jackson State because Lamontiez Ivy and this Jackson State offense has found a rhythm here. Some of it has been Daniel Williams, but Mall and Benjamin Thomas have also figured into it.
Yeah, they're doing a good job right now, Pete, at mixing up the run, the pass, using Dan Williams to the short side of the football field, using Johnson more. This is a good drive and much needed drive because the defense of Jackson State definitely needed a breather. They needed a blow. Being able to sit back and make some adjustments on the sideline was huge for this defense. Now, what can Jackson State do? They're in the red zone. Can they get 7 points? 3 points isn't going to do it in this game.
Timmy Chang has dialed up a good series here in the second possession for Jackson State. 10th play of the drive coming up. No huddle and up-tempo, and Ivy has been in a pretty good rhythm this entire drive.
Pete trips to the bottom of the screen. Dan Williams is at the top.
Moore dancing and nowhere to go.
Nice penetration by the Tennessee State defensive line.
Gabe Terry was there. No surprise. Terry was all-conference second team a year ago. Out route, Williams, he's surrounded.
Yeah,
Pete,
I think Jackson State went to the well too much. Starting to run dry a little bit. Tennessee State has seen enough of the quick screen to Dan Williams. Definitely attacked it at a better pursuit. Only gained 1 yard.
Third down and 13. Devin Fosselman, Benjamin Thomas, Mall, and Williams are the 4 receivers who have caught passes tonight. And Ivy, nowhere to go, and this is where the Tennessee State defense is really starting to flex its muscle.
You talk about Coach Reed calling the timeout, making some adjustments, and definitely the defensive line heard everything that he said. Talk about a defensive line could be one of the best defensive lines in conference. That was a big sack. Now, this is a very, very difficult field goal, Pete.
Deasing last year tied a school record with a 50-yard field goal. This will be a 41-yard attempt. He made 18 of 23 a year ago. That's a school record for made field goals in a season. 41 yards. Good execution with the snap and the set. And it is good.
Big kick.
Deasing line drives it home from 41 yards away. 28-12 now. Tennessee State's lead cut to 16.
Causing it to be finer.
The 26th Southern Heritage Classic presented by FedEx at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. 6.5 remaining in the third quarter. 28-12. Tennessee State with the lead. That last drive, 13 plays, 68 yards. Lamontiez Ivy was 6 for 6, accounted for 62 of the 68 yards. Taken by Scott. And gets back to the 23-yard line. Let's take a look at the quarterback comparison. Ackerman Carter has been very good. Lamontiez Ivy has. They've both been very, very good, except Ackerman Carter has been able to get 2 touchdown throws. One to Joe Bowens and one to Patrick Smith. Tennessee State, the beneficiary, BMAC that last time of a short field. Here they will start from the 23. Ackerman Carter steps up. Smith hit hard at the 31-yard line. Pickup of 8. Stacy Noble on the tackle. Don't get the sense that Tennessee State's going to take their foot off the gas.
Nah. They got a good rhythm going on offensively. Ackerman Carter has looked very, very good in the pocket. They got to keep doing what they're doing.
Give it to Smith. Carries for the first down. Spinning through traffic to the 40. Preston Hughes makes the stop. Rod Reed would like an early birthday present. He turns 49 on Tuesday.
Jackson State defensively, they got to understand the situation right now in the football game. The offense gave them a nice drive for 3 points. You got to get a stop here. Find a way to get a stop.
And Javancy Jones just hobbled off for Jackson State. That is bad news for their defensive unit. Hooks, big hole into Jackson State territory. A first down at the 47-yard line. Preston Hughes had to make the tackle again. And a lot of the tackles now, BMAC, are being made by the Jackson State defensive backs.
That isn't good, Pete. If the secondary is making all the tackles, that tells me this guy is getting to the last line of defense. Good vision by Hooks, being able to cut back opposite side of where the play was supposed to go, using his vision and his instinct, getting positive yards for this team.
And the way the Tennessee State offensive line is operating right now, whether it's Hooks or Smith, they're getting upfield and across the line of scrimmage without a hand being laid on them. Play action fake to Hooks. Deep ball overthrown for the intended receiver, Chris Sanders McCullum. But that pattern was open. Jemison back on coverage for Jackson State.
They got lucky. Jackson State got lucky. That is the concept. That has been the concept all game long for Tennessee State. Using the play action and throwing passes in between the hashes. Like I said early on in the after the first drive, if I'm a defender for Jackson State, I'm playing everything inside leverage, understanding the strategy for this Tennessee State offense. They want to take shots, and they want to take shots in between the hashes.
Second down and 10 from the 47 for Ackerman Carter. Smith back in. Carter. Incomplete.
Incomplete. Big stand right there by Jackson State. You saw defensive coordinator Alonzo Lee brought a double gap pressure. Was able to blitz both inside linebackers. Tennessee State did a decent job in picking up the blitz. But that is something that you have to do. You can't allow this young quarterback, Ackerman Carter, to continue to get comfortable.
Marlon Medley was the intended receiver, backup tight end on that last throw. 3rd down and 10.
Trips to the bottom of the screen. You got a tight alignment by the receiver at the top.
That pass through the hands of Hakeem Parker, the intended receiver. Jemison back on coverage.
Nice job by Jemison. Understanding the situation. Playing the sticks. Playing the sticks. Good, honest coverage by a quality corner.
Out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So punting situation coming up now for Tennessee State. Jarris Maul back to return the punt of Austin Rowley. One thing that we have not seen tonight, B-Mac, we haven't seen a turnover.
Yeah. Clean football by both teams so far.
Rowley, not a good punt. Rowley was punting into the wind and punted out of bounds. This is going to be a very, very short punt. We'll recap it when we come back. Tonight's Southern Heritage Classic is brought to you by FedEx, solutions that matter. And by the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau. For information on Memphis, visit memphistravel.com. And our thanks and note of appreciation to Fred Jones for all he does to put on this remarkable event that encompasses everything from a couple of concerts, one featuring Gladys Knight, a fashion show, a golf tournament, college fairs, and of course a football game with all the attendant tailgating and pageantry. Ivy, deep ball, Williams incomplete. Burnell Brooks back on coverage, and that's been a real good battle all night long. Burnell Brooks, the redshirt senior cornerback, and Daniel Williams, the junior.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that one-on-one matchup. Brooks coming out on top in that particular play. Good job by Brooks. You see, playing the hands of the wide receiver. I would love for him to look back, but yet and still he didn't make any contact. Therefore, that's why you didn't see a flag on the play. He waited for Williams to show his hands for the ball, played his hands. Nice play. Nice quality play by Brooks.
Jarris Moore remains in at running back. We've not seen Johnson as of late. Ivy, quick timing throw. Grab made by Will Golston, the senior from Mobile.
Nice catch by Will Golston. Low pass, was able to adjust, make a nice catch. Manageable 3rd down.
See if Ivy and Jackson State can get into a rhythm as they did the last possession. Drive stalled. They got a 41-yard field goal. They need a touchdown in the worst way. Oh, a back shoulder throw. Golston had to turn around for it and could not locate it. Brooks again on coverage, and that'll bring up 4th down.
3rd and 2. Questionable call, Pete. 3rd and 2. You would think you would try to get the running game going on. They're running the ball effectively all game long. Instead, shotgun formation, took a shot down the field.
Terrell Bonds back to receive this punt. We've seen Patrick Smith return punts, but this is Bonds number 5 to return the punt of Darcy Williamson. Williamson, a knuckleball. And this is going to turn out well for Jackson State. They downed it at the 11-yard line.
You didn't have to down the ball right there. Take a chance on it and let the ball just dribble as close as possible to the goal line. Jamal Hawkins panic a little bit there, Pete.
It's a 41-yard punt, no return.
just let the ball float. If the ball want to continue to roll to the 5-yard line, goal line, allow it to happen. Yet you cost yourself maybe 8 yards there on field possession.
We noted the lack of turnovers as you look at the numbers for Ackerman Carter, who went out briefly in the first half after landing awkwardly on his left arm on a scramble. We noted that there have been no turnovers. Jackson State's defense needs to force a turnover here, trailing 28-12 deep in the third quarter, and a flag flies before the inception of the play.
False start, 66, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jessamine Dunker, left guard, originally signed with the Florida Gators.
Jackson State has to understand where they are right now on the football field. You have to play with a sense of urgency. This would be huge right now for this Jackson State team, especially defensively, to force a 3-and-out. Penalties have plagued both teams offensively with the holding infractions.
Hooks crosses the 10 to the 11-yard line. This is a big game for Tennessee State in a lot of ways. They have done a very good job of recruiting here in the Memphis area. In fact, they've got at least 9 players on their roster from Memphis, including Patrick Smith, who scored the first touchdown of the game. And Rod Reed says, hey, this is a very vital area for us. It's big for us to play in the Southern Heritage Classic because it helps us recruit in the Memphis area. Not only do they recruit in Nashville and recruit all over the South, but Memphis has been a very, very good recruiting area for them. Second down and 10 from the 11. Another flag, pass incomplete to Hooks. Flag thrown by the referee in an area in which you would expect holding.
Talk about the penalty. Cornelius Henderson.
Holding 71 offense. Penalty declined. Third down.
Shaq Anthony, a transfer from Clemson, whistled for the infraction, and Tennessee State is going backwards. Left side of your screen. Arms extended around the neck.
Tedrick Terrell. So Jackson State declined the penalty instead of moving the ball back. Decided to leave it where it is. It's 3rd and 10 right now, Pete.
Ackerman Carter from the gun. Pump fake.
Got action.
Middle screen. You bet they got action. Smith right up the middle, and it'll be a first down to the 36-yard line. Tom Smith on the middle screen, well blocked, well executed, and a TSU first down.
Good play call by Coach Parker, offensive coordinator, Tennessee State, understanding that this defensive line have been doing a good job of getting penetration. They're hungry to try to get a sack. Middle screen, wide open, big play, big play.
25 yards on the pickup. A little more than 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. It was 21-9 at halftime. TSU with a Telvin Hooks touchdown run from 2 yards out. Ackerman Carter, plenty of time in stride. Catch is made. Sanders McCullum down the sideline and into the end zone. Chris Sanders McCullum, first touchdown of the year. 64 yards.
64 yards. I like the touch on the pass by Ackerman Carter. This talented kid continues to grow in this game. He's been comfortable their entire game, making quality throws after quality throws. Nice touch right there. Big drive once again by Tennessee State. Big drive.
Second time TSU has gone 64 yards for the score. The extra point is good. Patrick Smith hauled in a 64-yard bomb on the second play from scrimmage. And this time it's Sanders McCullum going 64 yards.
It's a simple deep over route. Nice touch on the ball like I alluded to earlier. Justin Jefferson, if you're going to go for the pass, make sure you can get the ball. You have to be 110% that you will get the ball. If not, go for the far shoulder. Make the tackle. Make the tackle. You make the tackle, you get another opportunity of lining up and playing defense. You missed the tackle, missed the ball, 7 points.
Well, Sanders McCullum had a big game in the Classic a year ago. 5 grabs for 102 yards. And that night, he set a career long with a 45-yard reception. Well, guess what? That one went for 64. 89 yards, and Tennessee State overcoming early penalties to go up 35-12. I am very impressed with O'Shea Ackerman Carter.
Yes, very impressed. Also, I agree. This guy has been comfortable the entire game. You got to mix it up. You can't just line up in vanilla defenses. Give this young fella something to think about. And also, you got to make the tackle.
Bingham and Moore are back. Bingham 2 yards deep, and Morris has taken a knee and will deal with the touchback. The poise, the patience, good arm, accurate arm. I really like the touch.
That was a nice pass. He didn't rush it, took his time, sat in the pocket.
Those who vote on the most valuable player of the game are going to have a very difficult decision. Talvin Hooks has scored 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Talk about some of the plays Patrick Smith has made, especially early on the ball game.
And Ackerman Carter, it could be a 3-way tie. Ivy. Dan Williams weaving his way through traffic, picking up blockers across midfield and pushed out at the 30-yard line.
Dan Williams continues to play good football. If I'm Tennessee State right now, Pete, I'm making sure that I double coverage number 81. You can't allow this guy to go out here and just make plays time and time after the game. You understand that Ivy will be looking towards wherever number 81 is and trying to get him the football.
45 yards on the pickup, and it's a challenge for Timmy Chang when you have a receiver as good as Williams is, who draws as much attention, finding ways to get him the football. Deep ball over the middle, touchdown!
Good throw.
Holy cow! Dan Williams, it's Will Golston. Will Golston with the touchdown.
Nice throw, Ivy.
We didn't call Golston's name much, if at all, in the first half, but a couple of big catches here in the third quarter.
This is a matchup that you have to attack. If you're Jackson State, you have a quality wide receiver going up against a safety, Lecraeus Cook. Nice player, but yet still, he isn't the comfortable guy, the most comfortable guy in coverage.
So the score now 35-18, and Jackson State will go for 2. Golston started his collegiate career at South Alabama, never played and transferred.
He got him. He got him. Take your time.
Conversion attempt. It's there and dropped.
Take your time, Pete.
Tevin Garrett, the backup tight end, had it in his hands and could not reel it in for the 2-point conversion. But Ivy to Golston.
Wide open.
29 yards.
Take your time, catch the ball. You can cradle this one. Pete, it's like catching a loaf of bread. Put your elbows together and cradle it in. I guess he didn't get the memo.
Well, they missed on a PAT kick in the first quarter, and they missed the conversion there. It's those mistakes that Harold Jackson says they simply cannot make.
Yes, indeed, but one thing to take out of this drive, it was fast. Scored literally in 2 plays, didn't use any time on the clock. A minute left to go in the third quarter.
But the problem with not getting that 2-point conversion, it's a 3-possession game. You got a 17-point margin.
Good play call by Coach Jackson and his offensive staff. You just got to catch the football. Do your job. Do what the play calls for you to do.
Do your job. Sounds like a football coach I've heard of before. And you played for some real good ones.
Yes, yes. And they always emphasize the same thing.
Deans with a good return working across the 30-yard line. Final minute of the third quarter with Bryant McFadden, 2-time Super Bowl champion. I'm Pete Pranica. Late third quarter, Southern Heritage Classic, Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Tennessee State a 35-18 lead over Jackson State. That would be a who's who of very, very good coaches. But you said Dick LeBeau, and I mean, so many people around the NFL just rave about Dick LeBeau. What made him such a good coach to play for?
He understood the game. Very, very knowledgeable. Not to mention, Pete, he had over 60 interceptions in his professional career.
Yeah, people forget that he was an outstanding defensive back in the NFL. Now, Butler has come in, and he's going to run it on first down, pick up maybe a yard. So Ackerman Carter out, Butler in. Butler came in the first half, and Ackerman Carter went out with the left arm injury.
Yes. Pete, I wonder, is Ackerman Carter okay with the health? Because the last few drives, he has really moved the ball effectively against this Jackson State defense.
Unless Rod Reed wants to throw a changeup here and keep the Jackson State defense even more off balance. Smith around the left side. Can't quite get to the corner, to the 38-yard line. He'll still be about 4 yards shy of a first down. Preston Hughes took him to the turf, and that'll be the last play of the third quarter.
That is the end of the third quarter.
15 minutes go on the board. We'll be back with the fourth quarter. A beautiful night for football at the Liberty Bowl. Tennessee State, a 35-18 lead over the Jackson State Tigers in the Southern Heritage Classic.
We got to start fast. This is a big physical football team. You're a big physical football team. This is a rivalry game, okay? The damn records go out the window right now. You got to make sure that you go out there and punch them in the mouth on the first play. They're going to punch back, but you got to keep punching and punching and punching. This is a heavyweight fight, guys. Last man standing going to win. And who's going to be the last man standing? Who's going to be the last man? That's my dog.
Rod Reed was off by exactly one play because Tennessee State scored on the second play from scrimmage, and they have continued to throw punches. A lot of it has been O'Shea Ackerman Carter, who has been lights out from the quarterback position. And as Rod Reed told us earlier in the week, he loves this receiving corps, and there's a lot to love.
Yes, sir. Got a bunch of playmakers at the wide receiver position for Tennessee State.
Ronald Butler remains in at quarterback as we start the fourth quarter. 3rd and 4. Hooks already 2 touchdowns to his credit, but he'll be well short of a first down. He needed the 42, so that'll bring up 4th down.
Nice stop. Nice stop. Jackson State defense giving their offense another opportunity of driving down the football field.
Last week, Tennessee State possessed the football for over 40 minutes. They've had it for just under 22 minutes so far tonight. They really dominated so much of the game against Alabama State, but simply could not put the ball in the end zone. Drop passes, missed kicks. Small calls for a fair catch. Ball pops free, but that's going to be fair catch interference.
Yes, sir.
As he was contacted at the 23-yard line. So this will be a foul on Tennessee State. We'll get the official word from our referee tonight, who has been fairly busy, Matt Young. We've had a lot of penalties, no turnovers to this point.
Interference, the opportunity to catch a kick. 8 kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Gabe Terry with the infraction, and with 14:07 left in this one, we'll step aside. High emotion, and you know this game always gets physical. Tonight's Southern Heritage Classic is brought to you by AutoZone. From parts to helpful advice, AutoZone has everything you need to get in the zone. AutoZone. And by Ewing Moving and Storage, people who make the right moves. Jackson State in need of scores here, trailing 35-18 with a little more than 14 minutes remaining in the ball game. They got 4 receivers. Instead, an inside handoff to Jarius Moore. They stacked 4 receivers, and now you look at tape being applied to the left ankle of O'Shea Ackerman Carter. He's given way to Ronald Butler for TSU. Ivy steps up, will tuck it, and be dragged down at the 46-yard line. A couple yards shy of a first down. Latrell Lee from his defensive end position making the tackle.
Big third down for Jackson State offensively. They got to move the chains, Pete.
Third down and 2. Handoff straight ahead. Moore carries for the first down. Moore carries for the first down and into Tennessee State territory, tackled by Dinsdale Jackson.
I'm surprised, Pete, to see the Jackson State offense kind of taking their time. Remember a few drives ago, they had a lot of success with the up-tempo offense.
4 receivers for Ivy. Nearly intercepted. He laid that out where Javon Brandon very easily could have intercepted that pass. It was in his hands.
Javon did a great job at recognizing the football when he saw the receiver broke for a corner route. Did everything well except come down with the football.
Trying to get it to Fosselman, but Brandon had a better break on the ball than did Fosselman. Second down and 10. Ivy. And another pass into traffic broken up by Terrell Bonds.
That was
intended for Moore.
Terrell did a nice job recognizing what Jackson State was trying to do. They tried to run a screen and go, bubble and go, using Dan Williams as a decoy. Played good, honest coverage, played his zone. That's his second opportunity of leaving an interception on the football field. Didn't come down with the football. The life of a defensive back. Inconsistent hands, Pete. Trust me, I know.
If it comes your way, you got it like somebody's throwing you a loaf of bread, right?
Easier said than done.
Third down and 10. Ivy's going to step up. He's going to run it and get the first down to the 34-yard line before Vantavius Williams halts his forward progress. So Jackson State continues to move the chains. Clock stops while the chains reset, and it winds now. Approaching 12 and a half minutes remaining.
I would love to see Jackson State speed up the tempo a little bit. They had a lot of success with that strategy a few drives ago.
Ivy going to run it again.
Get out of bounds.
Gets a good block from his fullback, Stedman Kapler. And then a flag at the end of the play.
I think we're going to have a personal foul on Dan Williams. A crackback block on L'Aquarius Cook.
Mistakes, mistakes, mistakes.
This is a huge penalty.
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness, 81 offense. Enough was gained for a first down. 15-yard penalty, it'll be 1st and 10.
That is a penalty as a former defensive player. I don't agree with too much.
There's right there.
Me personally, Pete, I'm old-fashioned. That's quality football. I like it.
That's a slobber knocker, right?
Yes. That's why you put on the pads.
Hand off to Joshua Bates. We have not received any word, but we've not seen Robert Johnson much, if at all, here in the second half. And
yes.
He ran the ball very well in the first half. We've seen Jarius Moore, now Joshua Bates, number 35, comes in for his first carry of the night. 2nd down and 7 from the 31-yard line. Ivy, in the face of pressure, delivers a strike to Benjamin Thomas. Good for a first down to the 22-yard line. Burnell Brooks on the coverage. And Brooks is down at the 25-yard line.
Nice job by Ivy. Standing in the pocket. Pressure collapsing on him. It's a nice job by a veteran quarterback.
In the face of pressure.
And they got away with one. They could have easily got illegal hands to the face on Ivy.
Justin North was going head-to-head with Burnell Brooks. Brooks has had a busy night dealing with Dan Williams of Jackson State.
You can't afford to lose Brooks. Brooks has been doing a good job in coverage, being disruptive with his hands. Played a nice game. Gave up a few plays, but he gave up a few plays to a very, very good wide receiver.
Well, the deep third is where Tennessee State is relatively young and inexperienced. Brooks is a redshirt senior, but Aquarius Cook and Javon Brandon, their starting safeties, are both sophomores, as is Terrell Bonds, who's the corner on the other side. So you've got 3 true sophomores and a redshirt senior in Burnell Brooks.
Yeah.
Looks like a clash of helmets there with Justin North.
That's what we call friendly fire. You got tattooed by your own teammate.
But it still hurts.
It is. Yes, it does. The price you pay when you're playing full speed.
Jackson State with a first down. And the clock begins to roll again. Ivy.
Good tackle.
Dan Williams.
Good tackle.
Great open field tackle made there by Ezra Robinson. And Robinson is the guy who comes in because Brooks goes to the sideline with the injury.
Robinson did a nice job at wrapping him up, playing against a big wide receiver, an elusive guy, wrapping him up and allowing the rest of the defenders to come and assist on the tackle.
Under 11 minutes now to play. 2nd down and 10. Ivy. Wow.
Nice throw, Ivy. I like the throw.
Williams on the square out, and it is 1st and goal just inside the 10-yard line for Jackson State.
That has been a favorite concept for this Jackson State offense. Getting in the stack alignment and allowing Dan Williams to run a corner route with a flat route in front of him. So Ivy has a two-way go. He can either hit the shorter route or hit the corner route with Dan Williams. That's what we just saw.
Moore's the setback, lofted, end zone, back corner, broken up. Ezra Robinson was there to break up the pass, which was intended for, guess who, Dan Williams.
Nice job by Robinson, being physical, disruptive with his hands. Ivy, as a veteran quarterback, though, when you see Robinson on the top shoulder of Dan Williams, that is where you throw the back shoulder fade. Allow Dan Williams to make an adjustment on the pass.
Second down and goal. Ivy will try the other side and knocked away again.
That is a long throw.
It's a very long throw.
That's a long throw. On the opposite hash, you have to be pinpoint with that ball, with the accuracy. Now you're starting to see the secondary for Tennessee State play with a little swagger. They're playing with more confidence.
Gabe Scott with the knockaway. Pass intended for Golston, who had the touchdown earlier. Third down and goal.
This could be 4-down territory, depending on what happens here.
I don't think there's any could be. I think this has to be 4-down territory. Ivy, pressure, end zone, touchdown. Jarris Mall.
Nice pocket presence by Ivy. Went to his third option. Jarris did a nice job.
7th career touchdown for Jarris Mall, the senior from Laplace, Louisiana.
He did a nice job at getting inside leverage on L'Aquarius Cook. That is the second time we've seen a guy break the leverage of Cook, being able to score a huge touchdown. Nice job by Jarris. Good throw and catch.
So the margin is 11.
Timeout. Jackson State.
Whoa.
Jackson State.
This will be a 30-second.
Will burn a timeout here, their first of the half.
In this situation, Pete, you have to self-assume that Coach Jackson is contemplating going for two. Going for two. You're down 11, you kick the extra point, you're down 10. Or take a chance to go for two.
Drive is 14 plays and 62 yards, covering 3 minutes and 46 seconds of clock. Really nice response from Jackson State.
Much needed. Much needed. I like what I'm seeing right now. Montez Ivy orchestrated a nice drive with this offense. Dan Williams came up huge with some plays. You talk about Jarris Mall, quality guys making quality plays with this offense. Now the unknown. What will Coach Jackson do? He's going for that PAT. I don't have an issue with this, Pete.
Nope, they'll kick it and try to make it a 10-point game.
The only question, though, Pete, you use the timeout to contemplate this.
Yeah, you almost have to game plan it ahead of time and try to think ahead. And the PAT is good, so it's a 10-point game at 35-25. Plenty of time remaining. Jackson State with a strong response. They won't back down. Williams set it up with the out route from Ivy, and then Mall over the middle for the touchdown. Still drama yet to be played out here in Memphis. Tonight's Southern Heritage Classic is brought to you by FedEx, solutions that matter, and by the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau. For information on Memphis, visit memphistravel.com. They will enjoy tailgating down Tiger Lane here outside Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. After the game, they're going to go back to the tailgate. They're going to watch the replay of the game, tell some stories, have some good food, and one side's going to be bragging. At the moment, it would appear to be Tennessee State, but Jackson State will not go quietly. Gabe Scott and Marcus Deans are back. Deasing will kick it off. This is Scott from the 12. Scott through a hole. Chopped down at the 34-yard line. Tennessee State, 3-game winning streak in the Southern Heritage Classic. They've won 10 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams. You look at the 2010-2011 games, Casey Terrio is an outstanding quarterback. For, at that time, Rick Comagee was the head coach at Jackson State. Terrio is a record-setting quarterback from Michigan, and he really gave Rod Reed and Tennessee State all kinds of fits. Ackerman Carter back in the ball game. A mix-up in the backfield. Wasn't sure if he was keeping or handing to Telvin Hooks. And a loss of about 3 on the play.
Nice win by Jackson State. Ackerman Carter got kind of confused. He saw the penetration by Javasi Jones. Decided to try to keep the football. And remember, Pete, we saw Ackerman Carter getting his ankles taped. I wonder where he is health-wise.
Fell on his left arm and shoulder awkwardly in the first quarter. See a knee brace on the left leg. Bowens, the tight end, in stride, a first down into Jackson State territory. So as soon as we question Ackerman Carter's health, there's nothing wrong with his arm.
Play action once again. We've seen this time and time again with this Tennessee State offense, drawing the linebackers up with the play action and executing with this tight end, Joe Bowens, with a huge first down conversion. Jackson State, they have to understand the situation right now. If they want to run the football, allow them to get 4 and 5 yards. But you can't allow the pass to go behind you. That was a huge first down conversion.
TSU now in plus territory. Hooks, 2 touchdowns on the night, barrels forward to the 43.
And right now, we're going to get an old-fashioned football with Tennessee State. Coach Reed loves to milk the clock.
He loves smash-mouth football. And this is right in his wheelhouse. Big offensive line. Wallace at 270. Dunker, left guard at 290. Kevin Kenton in the middle. 300, 315 with Williams and Clay on the right side. They're trying to be the people movers to put this one to bed. Hooks spins forward out of the grasp of Stacy Noble, and that last spin got him a first down.
Right now, Jackson State, they can't afford to allow Tennessee State to put more points with the football. Nice move by Hooks. Falling for it once again. You can't allow running backs to continue to fall for it. That is positive yards.
Hooks has been very impressive tonight.
See Tennessee State using their entire play clock, huddling up, taking their time.
Ackerman Carter.
Nice hold.
This is Smith. It's a little change of pace. Smith carries for 5. This is a Tennessee State team that we talk about their defense, and I think with a lot of justification. They've got more offensive weapons than I've seen in the last 5 years.
I like where they are offensively. You talk about a big physical offensive line, Pete. Nice, experienced wide receivers. You got a 2-headed monster in the backfield. You can close your eyes and pick a guy, and he can definitely come in and do some positive things for you. A young, up-and-coming quarterback. This is a nice, balanced offensive team.
Again, the play clock down to single digits for Ackerman Carter. Play action deflected and nearly intercepted.
The same exact play that we saw a few plays ago with Joe Bowens definitely had it. They had it open.
Javasi Jones with a deflection.
Yes. Ackerman Carter, he had what he was looking for. Nice play by Jones, though. 3rd and 5 right now. Jackson State, they have to get fired up. This is a big stop right now.
Well, you talked about the offensive line for Tennessee State. They had a streak of 216 pass attempts between sacks. They have kept Ackerman Carter very clean tonight.
Nice job.
Yep, Smith nowhere to go. So
Nice
Jackson
job
State
setting
gets
the
the stop.
edge. Tavares Battles. Nice job setting the edge, big fella. Look at this, Pete. Of course, Smith is trying to get outside. Tedrick Terrell, Tavares Battles did a nice job setting the edge.
And they're setting up for a long field goal attempt. Lane Clark. His career long is 46. This is 51 and a bit of a gamble. High snap. Kick on the way. And no good. Well, Rod Reed told us that Clark did have range beyond 50 yards, but that one wide of the mark, and the score remains 35-25 TSU. '26 Southern Heritage Classic presented by FedEx. 5 minutes, 49 seconds remain after the missed field goal. Jackson State takes over at its own 34-yard line, the line of scrimmage before that missed field goal from Lane Clark. He had never attempted a field goal of 50-plus. That would have been a career long. Ivy hands to Moore inside, not much there, a couple of yards. And Jackson State needs something of the quick strike variety here.
Yes, they got to get in a 2-minute offense right now. You got to speed up the tempo. You're down 10 points. You're fighting against Tennessee State and against the clock.
2 timeouts remaining. Ivy in deep trouble, did not let it fly, and was dragged down by Latrell Lee for a loss.
Can't afford to get sacked right here, Ivy. Ivy is a veteran quarterback. He has to understand that. Take what the defense gives you. You can't expect to sit back there in the pocket all day long.
Sack-happy TSU. Racks up one there. 3rd down and 16. Williams trying to get a block somewhere, but just too many white shirts, and David Camara takes him to the turf at the 30-yard line. That sack really put Jackson State behind the chains.
Wasted an opportunity, Pete. And better yet, they caught the ball on 3rd down, and now the clock is running.
Clock is running, 4.5 minutes. And after a brief deliberation, we'll get Darcy Williamson on to punt.
Wasted a quality opportunity.
Terrell Bonds back to receive the punt at his own 36-yard line.
Oh.
Jackson State has called their 2nd timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Not sure I understand the reason for it, because you made the decision to punt.
To punt the football. Now, obviously, there was a player wasn't in place. That's why you have to be attentive in what's going on in the football game, even if you're not on the football field. Understand what the team is doing. You just used 2 costly timeouts, one on deciding whether to kick an extra point and go for 2. Use your 2nd timeout because you didn't have enough players on the football field.
And rather than have the 10 men on the field penalty, you take the timeout. Williamson will be kicking into a bit of a wind. Flags appear to be blowing left to right.
Plays like that will drive any head coach crazy, Pete.
Attention to detail.
Attention to details. Non-athletic mistakes. You can't have them.
You sound like a coach.
Well, I've been yelled at by enough of them.
Williamson puts his foot to it. Bonds from his 30.
Good tackle. Well,
not yet.
No.
There, a shoulder tackle to the 41-yard line. Well, Jackson State, BMAC, had an opportunity after the missed field goal and just got nothing going offensively.
Nothing going. Talk about the confusion here. Of course, you have 10 players on the football field. The time was running down. You didn't want to get hit with a delay of game penalty, but ultimately, 5 yards moving backwards probably would have been better, Pete, than using a timeout.
Because now Jackson State is down to 1 timeout. Tennessee State has 2.
You talk about Coach Jackson talking about earlier this week wanting to minimize the mistakes.
Handoff, Hooks. Picks up 3. And the clock rolls inside of 4 minutes. Tennessee State gets Jacksonville State next Saturday.
Boy, Pete, you look at the numbers of Ackerman Carter. You talk about the offensive line doing a great job at protecting him. Yes, indeed. He's clean. I think he's cleaner than me, and I have a suit on, Pete.
Yeah, let me take a look. Yeah, I'd say it's
not a spot on that uniform.
Well, they serve barbecue up in the press box, so that might have accounted for something. Hooks steamrolled for no gain. Now, Tennessee State will not be back home and playing a game in Nashville until their homecoming game on October the 17th when they take on Eastern Illinois. Jacksonville State, Florida A&M, UT Martin, and then the homecoming game. 2 of their last 3 will be in Nashville.
Jackson State, this is a big down for them defensively. You have to understand what you're going against right now.
3rd down and 5, and Tennessee State will take a timeout.
This is a nice timeout by Tennessee State.
30-second timeout.
Can't wait to see what Coach Jeff Parker, the offensive coordinator of Tennessee State, decides to go with here. Of course, you know you can easily run the football. If you don't get it, allow quality time to run off the clock, punt the football, or you can get aggressive.
They need the 48-yard line of Jackson State. You pick up 5 here, and the issue has been settled.
These are the tough decisions that coaches have to make.
Rod Reed, which way will he and his offensive coordinator Jeff Parker go? Now you've been yelled at, coaches. I'm gonna let you coach this 3rd down and 5.
Right now, I'm gonna run the football, Pete. Defense has been playing good defense so far. If I don't get it, put the defense right back on the football field.
They're gonna pass for it over the top and overshooting Isaiah Jeffries Freeman.
Well, Pete,
they didn't listen to you.
And he was super aggressive. Instead of running for the sticks, ran a hitch and go. Hitch and go, viewers, is a 5-yard route, usually a stop route. Then you convert it into a deep route. Nice coverage there by Robert Porter. Nice coverage. Jackson State, they're still involved in this ball game right now.
Still time for a little more drama. Jarris Mall, who scored the last Jackson State touchdown. And the punt is blocked. Whoa. The punt is blocked. It is recovered by Tennessee State, but the punt is blocked, and the ball is at the 40-yard line of Tennessee State.
They're still in it. They're still in it. Right now, offensively, they got to understand we still have a nice shot. Nice shot
Key play.
Terry Harper gets the block. It's not a turnover, but almost as good.
Yes, sir.
We haven't had a turnover yet tonight. But Austin Rowley, the freshman punter, has had a very, very rough night, and it continues there. Ball officially spotted on the 39-yard line. Ivy, plenty of time. As his man, Fosselman, is wrestled down after picking up a first down to the 24-yard line. And this is where those two burnt timeouts earlier in the half could cause Jackson State a problem. On first down, Ivy throws, got his man, caught by Golston, but he goes down in the field of play, so the clock will continue to roll. Under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth.
He had him open too. Throw it high enough to keep him off the ground.
Empty backfield for Ivy. Steps up, throws, end zone, leaping attempt. And an incomplete pass intended for Fosselman again.
There's a Robinson once again playing nice defense. This guy's playing with a lot of confidence.
Burnell Brooks went out with an injury, and I do not see him on the field at the moment. Second down, clock stopped, 1:39 remaining.
Understand where you are in the football field. You can't afford to take a sack.
Ivy, pressure, end zone intended for Fosselman, incomplete again.
I tell you what, though, this defensive line, they're peeling their ears back, and they're going right after Ivy, making it very, very difficult for him right now.
It's fourth down.
Scoreboard was incorrect. It's fourth down now. And the field goal team coming on. 13 seconds on the play clock, and it's a mad scramble.
Wow.
Setting up Ryan Deasing. 33 yards, and it's blocked. Ball loose.
Pete, I know you have to be tired of me continually to say situational plays. Understand and know the situation. You can't mistake the downs.
And I mistakenly thought it was blocked. I did not see the fake with Darcy Williamson.
They rushed the kick because they were going against the play clock. You can't afford to do that. You're down 10. Pete, I probably would have called timeout. Just roll with it. Make sure you get 3 points on the scoreboard. Gather for an onside kick.
So a fake field goal goes for naught. Talvin Hooks carries to the 20. And that should just about be a wrap. Jackson State only one timeout remaining. And Harold Jackson not disposed toward taking that final timeout. And Tennessee State will line up in the victory formation. And the clock now down to 40 seconds. It will be 4 straight victories for Tennessee State here in the Southern Heritage Classic.
That's the final timeout for Jackson State.
Now Jackson State takes a timeout with 31 seconds remaining. I think, B-Mac, we've seen some good things from both teams. Jackson State has some things that they need to clean up, but I think a far better effort from them than what they had last week against Middle Tennessee.
Yes, sir. Competitive game by Jackson State. They came out, competed, played quality football, fought hard. Of course, they have to make some corrections. You talk about some of the mental errors that we saw throughout the course of this ball game. All mistakes are correctable from what I saw tonight with Jackson State. I like the combination between Montez Ivy, Dan Williams. Clearly, that is a heck of a 1-2 punch. You look at the running game, Robert Johnson, Jarius Moore. These guys came out and showed a different identity than what we're accustomed to seeing with Jackson State with the run and shoot attack. Came out and established the running game, did some good things, but yet it still wasn't enough. This Tennessee State team is a nice team, Pete. Nice team.
And O'Shea, Ackerman, Carter, the offensive centerpiece, along with a very talented receiving group. Patrick Smith with a touchdown tonight. Chris Sanders, McCullum, and a 1-2 punch at running back. They've got the full package right now. Their defense is young, but Rod Reed is an awfully good football coach, and that defense is going to grow and mature. And I think the best days for this Tennessee State team are still ahead of them. They had to rally in the fourth quarter against Alabama State last weekend. Forced a total of 4 fumbles. Didn't force any turnovers tonight. Gave up a lot of yards. But Tennessee State, your winners of the 2015 Southern Heritage Classic, 35-25 over Jackson State.
I want to get a holler at y'all, man, but I got tired of
2 classy guys meeting at midfield. Jackson State getting a better effort from its team tonight, but the Tennessee State Tigers have taken their 4th consecutive Southern Heritage Classic victory here at the Liberty Bowl. Back with more from Memphis in a moment. It was a highly entertaining football game tonight in the 26th Southern Heritage Classic. And you look at O'Shea, Ackerman, Carter, and he was fantastic. From the second play of scrimmage, he hit Patrick Smith on a 64-yard bomb on the second play from scrimmage. And B-Mac, we saw seam routes between the hashes all night long for TSU.
All night long. Inside routes, an easier throw for any quarterback.
Robert Johnson responds. Jackson State missed the PAT. It was 7-6. Talvin Hook's first of his 2 touchdown runs. 14-6 at this point. Jackson State would kick a field goal. And then just before halftime, I think this was a big catch and possession for Joe Bowens as they go up 21-9 at the break, and then Talvin Hooks again.
Yes, sir. Nice job scoring right before the half. Came out, get a huge stop, and of course they scored again. Nice touch right there. Ackerman Carter, nice touch from McCullum, Chris Sanders McCullum. Big play after big play.
Second 64-yard touchdown strike for them. Lamontez Ivy, not to be outdone. Golston from 29 yards out. And then Jarris Mall. Just too many mistakes for Jackson State tonight. And Tennessee State holding strong defensively. And they win at 35-25. Back with a final word from Memphis and the Liberty Bowl in a moment. Tennessee State has now won the last 4 Southern Heritage Classic games and 11 of the last 13 over Jackson State. 35-25 the final tonight. Brian McFadden, we take a look at the final numbers, and it was a very offensive game. Jackson State actually more first downs, more rushing yards, more passing yards, more total yards. But the penalties and other mistakes undid them tonight.
Yes, sir. They dominated throughout the course of the statistics here. Talk about dominating total yards and also penalties. Definitely was a huge, huge blow to this Jackson State team, especially offensively with all the penalties. And ultimately, was the deciding factor. When you're playing good quality football, you got to look at some of the intangibles. And penalties could be an issue for this team, especially going down the stretch.
It was clean as far as no turnovers, but mistakes by Jackson State, and a great offensive effort from O'Shea, Ackerman, Carter, and MVP wide receiver Patrick Smith propelled Tennessee State to a 35-25 victory over Jackson State. For Brian McFadden and the rest of our terrific Fox Sports crew, I'm Pete Pranica. Thanks so much for watching the 2015 Southern Heritage Classic on Sports South.